carrier again with the Joe Davis Conservation Foundation. And here with us we have Deb Kelly behind the camera and Richard Spear with the artifacts from the Hanover Historical Society. So thank you all for joining us this morning for another Facebook Live event here at the Wapello Land and Water Reserve. Before we really get into discovering Wapello, we want to announce the winner of last week's Facebook Live raffle prize. And remember, last week's raffle prize was the Birds of Illinois Field Guide donated by the Feathered Nest in Galena. So we'll go ahead and draw the name for this raffle prize. And let's see, I don't know if... Okay, so the winner here is Heather Lynn. So Heather Lynn, I don't know if you're watching right now, but we will get a hold of you on Facebook to find out more information about how we can get this raffle prize to you. So thank you, Feathered Nest, for donating this raffle item. This is a great book for IDing birds. This week's Facebook Live event is sponsored by the Fritz Nursery and Garden Center in Stockton, Illinois. And Fritz Nursery has generously donated a gift basket. And in this gift basket, there are things like garden tools and seeds and onion sets. It's valued at over $75. So make sure you comment or share this Facebook Live page to enter your name into that raffle. So pretty easy to get your name in there. All you got to do is comment or share this video, and then we'll do a drawing again next week to announce that winner. Thanks, Fritz, for donating that. So now we can get into discovering Wapello and talking about what we have here at Wapello. Remember, if you have questions throughout the session, you can go ahead and type them in and as we go, and then we'll get around to answering them near the end. So the Wapello Land and Water Reserve is over 90 acres of a restored prairie ecosystem, and there are hiking trails throughout this prairie ecosystem. This is cared for by the Friends of Wapello volunteer group. They do stewardship out here, and I'll tell you more about them a little bit later. This prairie ecosystem is home to some very rare and sensitive species, such as the rusty patch mahogany, Indian paintbrush, and the blazing prairie star. There's a couple of really bright flowers that you can see in the summer and fall. Very cool. Wapello is a great place to come and visit. The main attraction here is the story of the Native American history in Joe Davis County. So the locals in this area, they've always known that there's a lot of Native American presence and activity in this area, just from the amount of artifacts that were found on the ground. And after a lot of research and trying to figure out more about this history, we've learned that this is actually the site of a 1,000-year-old Native American village. So along the western boundary of Wapello is the Apple River, which makes this a great site for settling a village. So that's a little bit about the Wapello Prairie, and I want to introduce Richard Spear here. He's one of the curators of the Hanover Historical Society, and he is going to tell us about some of the artifacts that have been found here at Wapello.
This is one man's collection, Larry Bell Jr. He collected for over 40 years. We have about 1,000 items from his collection. This is about 25% of it. So here's a collection of large arrowheads, and they would have been used on a spear or an atlatl, which was used on the shoulder. We have a ceremonial mound, which we call a bead mound because of the large number of shell beads that were found on the site. Here are some bird points, the small arrowheads that were used on the end of the arrow. This is turkey feather, spear point. These black items were worn as part of the Indian clothing. Thumb scrapers, which were used on between the thumb and index finger for scraping hides. Individual beads and bird points. A large collection of pottery. Some of the designs are unique and changed over the years. There are a couple of axe heads, one plain, one grooved. Here is a sharpening stone. Up here, there are some drill bits for drilling, whatever needed drilling, wood or stone. A couple of metal tags from the fur trade. They came out of East Dubuque. A couple of musket balls. And finally, the Indians had a hard life, but they also had fun. This is a chunky stone, a game they played. They'd roll it along the ground and try to shoot it with their arrows. And they took the game very seriously and bet on it. And back to you.
Great. So, Richard, tell us again which ones were actually found here at Wapello.
Unfortunately, Mr. Bell died, and he was, of course, the authority on his collection. But he did label some of the frames. This one from Wapello. Wow. This one from Wapello.
Very cool.
The bead necklace from Wapello.
See, I find this
and
one
some of the others.
This is really neat. So, do we know anything about the ceremonies that might have been held at the bead mound? We call it the bead mound, but it's kind of a ceremonial mound here at Wapello.
It was their church.
It was their church.
Yeah.
Okay.
They celebrated the events of their life there.
Okay.
But no, we don't know a lot about it.
Okay. Huh. And how about these scrapers? What would they be used to
They'd be
scrape?
scraping hides.
Hides.
Deer hides and other
Okay.
hides.
Wow. One thing that always amazed me is how they made the holes in these shell beads, and so because they're so tiny.
Yes,
They're
challenging,
so tiny.
and I'm not just sure how they managed to do that.
Yeah. Maybe they used one of these drill bits, a really tiny drill bit.
Right.
Very cool. Now, what is the process called of chipping away the stone to shape these stones into an arrowhead? There's a name for this process.
I'm out of my area of expertise. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm a generalist.
Yeah. I think that's pretty neat that people would chip away the edges of these stones to shape them into a tool like this.
Richard, could you talk about when these people were actually out here?
The earliest point dates to about 8,000 years ago, and it was discovered on the fence line between this property and south of here, where the two farms joined. But the area of interest to the archaeologists is 1050 to 1350, and after that there doesn't seem to have been much activity on the site until after the French and Indian War, when some Indians moved down from the Great Lakes in Wisconsin to the area and ran into the whites that were just settling the area after it opened up and just before the Black Hawk War.
Okay, we have a question. How can you tell a sharpening stone from a regular old stone?
It has a groove. It has a nice groove.
Okay, so it has that groove.
Yeah. And only on one side. On the other side, it looks like an ordinary stone.
Nice.
So, Richard, are these artifacts here at the Hanover Historical Society? Where is that located? Can you tell us about where it's located?
In the Art District building, which is the old Hanover School,
Okay.
and happened to be in the music room. Unfortunately closed for the time being.
Very cool.
Okay, we have Maureen asking to tell us about the Friends group.
Oh, sure. So Richard is actually part of the Friends group, and the Friends group has been very instrumental in kind of uncovering the history here at Wapello, as well as organizing a lot of educational events to tell that history to the communities. The Friends of Wapello, they meet every first Tuesday of the month at 6 p.m. at the Hanover Parks District over here in Hanover, in Illinois. But for now, we're just meeting on Zoom conference calls. But you're still welcome to join the group. It's a very welcoming group. We welcome anybody. And to find out more information, or if you'd like to sign up, you can just send us an email at info@jdcf.org, and we can get you all the information that you need about how to join this volunteer group.
And Richard, could you tell us about some of the things that the Friends group has done out here?
We work Tuesday morning for a couple of hours in season, and we pull invasives, thistles, and garlic mustard. We didn't work this Tuesday. It was miserable out here. But we put in one day so far, more than one day, picking up trash along the highway. And that's our next project, to finish that up the next available Tuesday.
And I believe the Friends group has been around since 2008. Is that true?
Quite a long time. Not quite as old as the restoration, but almost. And then in the season, later on in the season, we collect seed to plant in some of the bare spots, and also to share. This prairie provides a lot of extra seed for prairie restoration in other areas.
Great. So if you have any more questions, feel free to type them into the comments section, and we can get around to asking them even after the video is finished. So to wrap up today, I want to share with you the opportunity to donate today is by purchasing a t-shirt with a specially designed JDCF logo that helps support keeping these preserves open for everybody to visit. The logo is kind of a challenging, an encouraging logo in a challenging time, and you can find that information on our Facebook page on how to go forward with ordering that t-shirt. So I want to thank you all for joining today. Come out and visit Wapello Land and Water Reserve. It's a beautiful day today. There's trails, hiking trails throughout the preserve. A lot of great wildlife here as well. And remember that that if you'd like to enter into the raffle drawing for the gift basket by Fritz, donated by the Fritz Nursery and Garden Center, all you have to do is comment or share this Facebook Live.
Now, if someone came out here and they happened to find something, what should they do?
Oh, so if you find something out here, the best thing to do is leave it where it is.
The only thing to do.
The only thing to do is leave it where it is, yes. You are not, nobody is legally allowed to collect anything from this site. This is a nature preserve that is available to the communities and the public, but it is protected under law, and everything that's found here should stay here.
Okay, Kay is asking approximately how long are the walking trails here?
Oh, let's see. Is there, I think with the new additional trails, there's probably 3 miles or so. And they're relatively level too. So, they kind of make some figure eights and go all around. Really beautiful scenery out there, and it's a good beginner's hike. I would call it a beginner's hike, but it's really beautiful.
Are we seeing any migratory birds coming through?
Oh yeah, all the time. So right now I'm hearing a lot of red-winged blackbirds that are out here. We have our bluebird nest boxes that are up throughout the prairie. Just a little bit ago I was hearing some sandhill cranes. So if you've never heard one of those, they kind of sound like dinosaurs. It's pretty cool.
Okay, we've had a couple requests to go through the artifacts again.
Oh good, yeah. Yeah, so sometimes I know a lot of people are joining a little bit later. So Richard, you want to go through these again?
Large arrowheads from the area. They would have been used on a long stick, a spear, or an atlatl, which was a gadget that worked off your shoulder and gave you more distance. The beads were found from the bead mound, and they were the mound was an area where the Native Americans celebrated the major events of their lives: birth, marriage, death, and this is a ceremonial offering apparently. Here's a spear point, bird points. The bird points would go on the end of an arrow, and you'd have a feather on the end. This was worn, the black was worn. Thumb scrapers from the site, they were used to scrape hides between the thumb and index finger. A collection of bird points from the Chapman site and some individual beads from the bead mound. Here's a collection of pottery, some of the designs unique to the time period and the area. There are a couple of axe heads. One is plain and one is grooved. Here is a sharpening stone. You can see the groove there. Plain on the other side. And up here, some drill bits that were used maybe even to make the shell beads. And some tags from the fur trade came out of East Dubuque. Some musket balls. And finally, the Indians, although they had a hard life, had some time for fun. This is a chunky stone. This was used in a game. They would roll it along the ground, try to shoot it with their arrow, and bet blankets and horses on the outcome. They took it very seriously.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you everybody for joining today. Remember to enter into the raffle, all you have to do is comment in the comments section or share this Facebook Live video. Feel free to ask questions even after this video is finished. So thank you all for joining today, and you can join us next week to talk about frogs and toads.